All right, hello, teachers, and welcome to Chapter 5 of Blessed: How Christians Change Culture. And the underscore title is Choose to Pardon. Okay. Blessed are the merciful, for they shall receive mercy. Matthew 5:7. All right, the chapter starts off with just some things that I found very interesting. A man builds a pyramid with over 1,000,000 pennies. A man in Spain bought a wheel of blue cheese for over $16,000. A man breaks a world record by shoving 146 blueberries in his mouth. And Mortimer the Bulldog had 19 pacifiers removed by a team of vets. Wow. Good news, Mortimer's fine. And so we should feel good about that. So all of those things are great, and we will certainly remember them in the moment. But if you really want to do something unforgettable and life-changing, choose to pardon and dispense mercy, especially to people that we don't think should have it. Forgiveness. Who is the person who has hurt you the most deeply? Okay? And who is the person you most need to forgive? Well, what is mercy? Grace versus mercy. Grace is getting what you don't deserve, and mercy is not getting what you do deserve. And so I think it's a really, these two things, grace and mercy, we throw them around, I think, as expectations. And sometimes when things don't go our way, we feel like maybe we were slighted or we were injured. Forgiveness is not forgetting. Forgiveness is not excusing. Forgiveness is not pretending you are not hurt. Forgiveness is not tolerating whatever wrong occurred. We have to remember that to forgive is to pardon. It is a refusal to punish, even though you have every right to do so. So why should we be merciful? The first reason is to stop your personal cycle of pain. We'll go back to the Bible here. Matthew 5:7, blessed are the merciful, for they shall receive mercy. So we give mercy so we can receive God's mercy. When we forgive or pardon, God offers us a ticket off the roller coaster of hurt. Forgiveness provides us freedom from the circumstances that keep us trapped by hurt and pain. We have a quote here by Fred Buechner. Of the 7 deadly sins, anger is possibly the most fun. To lick your wounds, to smack your lips over grievances long past, to roll over your tongue the prospect of bitter confrontation still to come, to savor to the last toothsome morsel both the pain you are given and the pain you are given back. In many ways, it is a feast fit for a king. The chief drawback is that what you are wolfing down is yourself. The skeleton at the feast is you. I would imagine that Fred Buechner is one of those guys you invite to the party, and he's over there having really serious conversations and bringing everybody down. That is a amazing quote, though, and very, very true. And it's kind of a great thing for us to think about, because our first inclination sometimes when we're hurt is to hurt the person back. And so we can see ultimately that that's damaging to ourselves. Why should you be merciful? The third reason, pardon to receive mercy. And that's important. We want to go ahead and receive mercy from God. Well, the key to that whole thing is, we have to pardon to receive mercy. Some important things to remember about that, though. The merciful will be shown mercy. So there it is. There's the promise from the Beatitudes. The merciful will be shown mercy. None of us deserve grace or mercy from God. That's an important thing for us to know. This is not a transaction, a legal arrangement, as though my mercy obligates you or God to be merciful to me. Mercy is not a means to our end, but a free gift we choose to give. But when we forgive people who have wronged us. We put ourselves in a position to receive mercy from God. People who are the most legalistic with others are usually legalistic with themselves. If I won't forgive you until you're punished, then I won't forgive myself until I'm punished. If I won't show mercy to you, I won't receive mercy myself. And so that's a cycle that's damaging. And we have to learn to release our anger and hurt and choose to pardon the person or people who have hurt us. Why should you be merciful? The third reason, pardon to break the cycle of revenge. Stop the madness. If I must hurt the person who hurt me, then we are doomed to a painful and pointless cycle. We cannot trade hurts like a catcher and a pitcher, throwing pain, hurt, and vitriol back and forth. When you pardon someone, it ends the cycle. They can either accept or deny. They have no cause to hurt you again. In fact, by your example, they have an abundant reason to love you more. Why should you be merciful? The fourth reason, to show others the love of Christ. It's probably the most important one. Again, this book is about how we can transform or change culture. And we have to do that. We have to demonstrate Christ-like love. John 13:35, by this all people will know you are my disciples if you have love for one another. During the depths of the Cold War, people in a particular East German town began throwing their trash over the Berlin Wall into the West German town on the other side. The West Germans, for their part, responded by tossing food and clothes to the East Germans with this note: each gives what he has. How can you be merciful? First, admit the reality of hurt. Name it out and give it to God. Name it honestly and specifically. Describe in words how you feel about it and the person who caused it. Describe even what you would like to do in revenge. Get your feelings out as openly and transparently as possible. Write a letter to the one who hurts you, then tear it up. You may want to talk to a friend you trust or a Christian counselor. Most of all, admit it to God. Give it to God. Tell God. You can tell on them to God. Pour out your pain and hurt. You must admit the cancer exists before the surgeon can help you. How can you be merciful? Second, ask God to help you pardon the one who hurt you. You can't do it. We can't do this without God. That's kind of a theme of this book. We can't do any of the things inside of this book that the Beatitudes ask us to do without the grace and mercy and help of God. And that is all given to us through our relationship with Christ. The Beatitudes are addressed to believers and followers of Christ. When we pardon someone, it is only the mercy and grace of God that can help us heal our hurt and pain. Turn to the Holy Spirit who dwells in your heart and soul. Ask him for the power and pardon of God. Ask him for the ability to see the person as he does and to see yourself as he does, both of you redeemed sinners. Ask him to help you to give your enemy the mercy God has given you. That's really important. God doesn't look at us any different. And sometimes we think we're better than other people, and this is a big thing. We're like, well, I'm better than you because I didn't hurt you the way you hurt me. But the truth is, God doesn't look at us any different, and we have to see the person across from us the way God sees them. Don't feel yourself into a new way of acting. Act yourself into a new way of feeling. Step out in faith. Every time the pain wells up inside of your heart again, tell yourself that you have released this person from the prison of their sin. The ink on the pardon is dry, the deed is done, and the forgiveness is made. How can you be merciful? Third, initiate restoration. Matthew 18:15. If your brother sins against you, go and tell him his fault between you and him alone. With God's help, we can act in courage. Tell the person honestly what they did to you and how much this pain has hurt you. If I hurt you, I want to know it. I want you to talk to me, not about me. Go to the person in question with honesty. Tell this person that you have pardoned him. He may not understand what you mean or believe it or accept it. She may never reciprocate what you have done. This is not yours to decide. You must begin the process of healing the relationship, whatever your partner in restoration decides to do. Continuing on, with God's help, we can act in courage. To forgive is not to be naive. It is not to allow an unrepentant, unchanged person to hurt you yet again. Neither is it to assume that they will never change. Seek a wise balance with the wisdom God gives you to know what and where you can trust. You may never have the old relationship, but you can have a new one by the mercy of God. How can you be merciful? Lastly, be realistic. We are humans. We forgive slowly. We forgive a little bit at a time because we do not want to get hurt again. And usually there is always leftover anger. Remind yourself that you have forgiven as many times as the pain comes back. So every time that pain comes back, you just remind yourself, hey, I've forgiven this and I'm moving on. Over time, it'll become less and less a problem, and one day, perhaps not at all. All right, nuggets from today. To forgive, you must know that you are forgiven. We have to realize we are forgiven before we can forgive people. If we will not forgive those who have hurt us, then how can the world experience our Christ-like example of love? And lastly, the Epitaph of Copernicus. I'm not going to try to read it because it's in Middle English, and it just, no matter how many times I try, I won't be able to get the rhythm or get it correct. It's here for you to read, but what I will say is this, is once you've read it and digested it, the question is, who do you need to forgive today?